Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Logan Thomas, and with me, as always, is my most excellent co host,
Caden Green.
and together we are the Real Bros. Caden, we're continuing our journey through the Ghostbusters franchise. Today we're covering Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring it up now.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is our second attempt
Mm-hmm.
at recording this episode. We got about halfway through,
About half an hour.
and we realize our
Oops.
OBS.
Logan stopped recording.
Yeah. So I just want that in the air. So everything we're about to say up through production tales we just said a little bit ago. But we are dedicated and we are here to fixing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Caden is mentally exhausted at me and is trying hard not to hurl himself across the desk and kill me. But you know what? We're talking about a great Ghostbusters movie here today.
Yes, we are. It's a very good movie.
This one, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'm glad you knew I was going to say something else.
Because you did the...
I know both you and I walked into this movie not expecting to like it. And then we walked out of the theaters like, that was so good.
Definitely a return to form of the vibe and feeling of the first two movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think this is honestly a very natural third movie for what the other two were. For Frozen Empire, it has the same vibe. It feels different, but you're going to get that when you're trying to do different stories or whatever. We're going to talk about 2016 to a little bit. I don't hate it. Caden's never seen it. It just doesn't feel like Ghostbusters to me.
Right.
And in production tales, we'll talk about that a little. It's mentioned once or twice. No real issues with a diverse team.
No
gender diversity, no ethnic diversity. That movie was important to the making of this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to say that right now. And we're going to let Caden watch it at some point. And if he likes it, we'll put it on the podcast. If not, we're just going to be like, hey, we acknowledge it. We respect it. But it's just not a part of what we consider the Ghostbusters franchise.
Right.
It is an outlier. And on that note, this movie is very emotional.
Oh, for sure.
Heart and family is the soul
But
of this movie. And I think that's what makes it one of the strongest Ghostbusters movies. It's not as magical as like the first one because that it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But this is very much on that level. It's very much a legacy sequel, so it will be a lot of nostalgia factor. And I think I wrote down a few nostalgia points, maybe once or twice, but there's just so many of them in this movie. This whole movie is just a nostalgia point.
Oh yeah.
So but yeah, go see this movie if you love the first two Ghostbusters movies. Definitely if you like family movies or coming of age stories, check this one out. Other than that, I ain't got nothing else to say. Caden, if you want to take us through the quick review, we'll get the show rolling again.
So, for prior context, Ghostbusters 2 takes place 40 years before the main events of Afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Within those 40 years, ghost sightings have virtually stopped, so the Ghostbusters themselves have disbanded.
And a lot of the characters didn't. Some of the characters didn't even know the Ghostbusters existed.
Yeah.
They just like faded into obscurity.
But with that, a new spiritual entity,
Mm-hmm.
very powerful, is trying to work its magic in manifesting itself into the real world. And so it's now up to the younger generation to step up to the plate and become the new
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters.
And I do want to say the villain in this movie is really well done because it feels like a natural continuation
Mm-hmm.
rather than just like just another villain for a
Right.
Ghostbuster movie. Like for Ghostbusters, you're gonna get Gozer or you're gonna get somebody really obscure. Because like people just want Gozer because they know how that vibe is gonna be. But they handled this movie really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. But anything else you want to add before we get into production tales?
Not that I can think of.
Again,
Again.
we're gonna be throwing that joke in around this episode for a little bit longer.
Yeah, just a little bit longer.
I just want everybody to know we're moving through this much faster than we were last time. As everybody knows, this movie originally started out as Ghostbusters 3. In 1990, Dan Aykroyd had a script for the third Ghostbusters called Ghostbusters Hellbent. It was about them traveling to a parallel universe in which they were in a place called Manhattan. Still funny to read that, by the way. It's about an alternate version of Manhattan.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, it's the Tourette's. Where everything is just a
Chaos.
hellish version of Earth. And they got to confront the devil.
That's a way to end a series.
I mean, yeah, to take down essentially the supernatural baddie, big baddie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would have. Hey, maybe that'll be the next movie. You know, you never know. They got to end it at some point, right?
Not necessarily.
That's true. Columbia Pictures and Aykroyd stated that they were interested, though the principal actors, especially Bill Murray, was not.
Mm.
It would have included a younger group of Ghostbusters, with Ray, Egon, and Winston struggling to keep the business going after Peter left with Dana and they became more serious. Which, that would have been a much more natural continuation if we were going to keep them as like the main characters.
Right.
But elements of the story were used in the Ghostbusters, the video game, which Aykroyd considered to be the essential third movie that we never got at various stages of its development. Chris Farley, Chris Rock, and Ben Stiller were reported as potential stars of this new Ghostbusters film.
You were struggling right now.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's because I'm tired. It's just doing this again. I apologize, and it is my fault, so I'm doing this to myself. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. In 2004, Columbia wanted a sequel again. Murray, who disliked doing sequels, was uninterested in the project. In 2005, Harold Ramis confirmed plans to introduce Ben Stiller into the principal cast. So they really wanted Ben Stiller in this movie.
Right.
And like, I don't know if, but I think 2005 would have been before Night at the Museum. I'm pretty sure. But like, I feel like he would have had that good comedy vibe that could have matched with them. By 2009, the project had failed to progress, and in January of 2010, Ivan Reitman, who made the first two films, confirmed he would direct the third one. In March, Murray discussed development of the film and his mixed feelings about reprising his role. A release was scheduled for Christmas of 2012. That October, Aykroyd commented on the screenplay written by Gene Stupinski. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. And Lee Eisenberg, stating that he was particularly impressed with the writing of Murray's character and the implementation of a new team with the originals, while he and Ramis worked on a second draft of the script. By August 2011, Aykroyd stated that filming was scheduled to begin later that year, with the story focused on passing the mantle to younger actors. So, no matter what, the passing of the torch
Is bound to happen.
was always their goal. And, like, at their age, because in 84, they were in their 20s or 30s.
Right.
Understandable. But by 2011 or whatever, that would have put them about 40 or 50 or more in there. So, like, and it sounds like 3 was always going to be like a here you go. We're done.
Right.
And so when Murray decided against reprising his role, Aykroyd said another actor might replace him. No. Just no. I don't think there's another actor out there who could have done it.
I mean, there probably is,
But
but
the chemistry wouldn't exist
no.
to any degree. Even if you got like one of Bill Murray's brothers, still, they have their chemistry from their SNL work. That is what makes them so tight.
Right.
And Bill and Harold, they were friends for the longest time. That's where that came from. So that those three had a special chemistry that no other person would have. And if one of them was gone, that movie would have been ruined,
Right.
in my own personal opinion. Aykroyd also said he wanted retired actor Rick Moranis to return as Louis Tully. Now, as everybody knows, Rick Moranis went into retirement after his wife became ill, I believe, and he left to take care of her. For the first time in almost 30 or 40 years, Rick Moranis will be in a movie next year. He's returning in Spaceballs, the new one.
That is the name of the movie. That's not him saying the new Spaceballs. It is literally Spaceballs, the new one.
Dark Helmet is one of his best performances. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I am so excited to see that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, real quick, but wasn't he also the main character in Little Shop of Horrors?
He is, yes. In the 80 or 90s remake or whatever, because there was one in the 60s, I believe.
Every movie I've seen him in, he does really good with.
And you also know him from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that
Kind of.
series. It just depends if you were like raised in that time.
I remember seeing parts of it, but never the whole movie.
Yeah, no. Ghostbusters and Spaceballs are like the big ones. Um but like then again, I was also raised with Mel Brooks films, so Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, all those are in here. We will probably never talk about Blazing Saddles on this podcast for many reasons.
No, fun little fact that I want to know if you remember this. Do you remember the main reason I know Spaceballs so well?
Is it because of me?
Very close. It was about 6 years ago, 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
around there. We had stayed at my uncle's house out in Fort Wayne, New Haven, to do a out of town sleepover for
Mm-hmm.
my birthday. That
That's
was
right.
that was the movie he threw on.
That's right. And I think that was the first time you and I had seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that makes me feel old. Oh wow. So yeah, we will definitely hopefully be covering Spaceballs and Spaceballs the new one at some point. Um, but yeah, congratulations, Rick Moranis, on your triumphant return. Hopefully, the movie's great.
I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be.
Say it's written and directed by Mel Brooks, who just turned he's like in his 90s.
Even then, it's a parody movie, and 9 times out of 10, those are really good.
As you can tell by Scary Movie's box office numbers right now.
Mm-hmm.
Back on track. By February 2012, the film was placed on hold as the production team reevaluated the project. Without Murray, the studio searched for replacement actors and even considered including his character as a CGI rendered ghost.
Mm-mm.
Don't do that.
No.
That puts you in like Flash territory. Don't do that.
Yeah, The Flash, for those that don't know, I can't think of his name right
Nicolas Cage,
now. Nicolas Cage had done a kind of scene shoot as Superman.
because he was supposed to be in the Superman Lives movie by Tim Burton,
Mm-hmm.
which fell apart. And so he finally got to put on the suit in front of camera and do some stuff.
They scrapped everything and just decided to render it all in CG.
And Nicolas Cage has been open. He even went on stage and stuff, in interviews and stuff. It's like, I did none of that, and he's not very happy with it.
I wouldn't be either.
Even I think the family of Christopher Reeve said something too because they used his likeness, and it just looked
Horrible.
atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I understand doing it to honor something. I completely understand that.
If you're gonna honor something, though, put your best to it.
And we're going to talk about something like this later on in this movie. You have to have it perfect. Otherwise, you have the chance of offending the family of somebody who is no longer with us. You have the chance of
Offending the fans of that person.
offending the fans, of just dishonoring the legacy of somebody who portrayed a character.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna be like, let's just pretend it's there. No, just don't do it. Use stock footage or something if you have to. Do like what they did with Harrison Ford in Dial of Destiny. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's an option. Don't just CGI somebody's likeness and expect people to just buy it.
Yeah.
It's just distasteful.
It also helps if the company gets permission from the family.
Oh, right. Which I think they did for this movie. I'm pretty sure.
I would hope so.
In June, Marie again acknowledged all involved were attempting to develop a third movie before dropping out of the film the following month. In July, Aykroyd confirmed the film was back in development with a script rewrite from Egon Cohen. Aykroyd said the script, it's got to be perfect. That's the whole thing. There's no point in doing it unless it's perfect. So that's where we're at now. By September, Reitman announced the development of a remake. In 2013, Aykroyd discussed plot points including real experiments being done by college students at Columbia University as a source of inspiration. That's pretty cool. I would like to see that.
Oh, yeah.
The plot would revolve around research being done at the university, which would bring about threats from another dimension. A new team of Ghostbusters would form to save Earth's plane of existence from supernatural threats, which is kind of like what the 2016 film was to a degree, but that movie just blends that more of just remaking the original. The script reportedly included Murray's character with hopes Murray would decide to join production. So they were just essentially baiting Bill Murray to come back.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
oh, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
When you're dealing with somebody like Bill Murray, I understand that if you want them to be in a movie, you got to do what you can. I understand that. But like, if the man obviously doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. Because like, even like, he never like openly talked about the second movie because that's how he thought about it. But like, he would openly talk about the original one with like great praise.
Because it's a good movie.
And then when the Afterlife came out, he was talking about Afterlife. So like he needs to essentially vibe with it
Yeah.
to be able to be like, I'll do it, I'll support it. You got me. It obviously wasn't working that way for him for about 10, 20 years. By March of 2015, Reitman was no longer attached to direct the third film, but would remain as a producer. With plans to begin principal photography in early 2015, Weaver wanted her character's son to feature as a member of the team, and Reitman had already been included in the script. And by Weaver, that means Sigourney Weaver. And that is the end of the story of Ghostbusters 3.
Now,
Ghostbusters Afterlife. In January of 2019, Ivan Reitman's son, Jason, confirmed to direct a film connected to the original two films. He co-wrote the script with Gil Keenan, while Ivan would serve as a producer. The film would feature teenagers, 2 males and 2 females, as recruits for the Ghostbusters. Jason said the film ignores the events of 2016's reboot, which was directed by Paul Feig. Reitman said he did not mean to snub the 2016 film, and that he had nothing but admiration for Feig. Feig said Reitman had been a supporter of his film, and that he can't wait to see his take on the Ghostbusters universe. Reitman later said the idea of a teenage girl wanting to be a Ghostbuster had come to him, and with a positive reaction from Feig's film, proved the idea that anyone could be a Ghostbuster would work. Reitman also said the Ghostbusters franchise could readily expand on this idea with all types of people becoming Ghostbusters. That's like the kind of like the conversation when people have like anybody could be behind the mask of like Spider-Man.
right.
Or whatever. And that's a good angle to take something like this. Because, like, you know that in the 80s, there were kids dressed up as Ghostbusters for Halloween. Like, it's a given.
Oh, absolutely.
But, like, this shows it like, hey, you could be a Ghostbuster.
You could be a Ghostbuster.
That person over there and hiding in the corner could be a Ghostbuster.
Anybody could be a Ghostbuster. The thing is, they're not hidden about it.
Nope. Reitman also said the Ghostbusters franchise could readily expand on this idea with all types of people becoming Ghostbusters. Personally thanking Feig for making this possible. Reitman considered, unlike the 3 prior Ghostbusters films, all of which involve people going into the ghostbusting business, he wanted to make the film about family first. With Keenan, Reitman created a script based around the Spengler family and the reason they are so disconnected. According to Dan Aykroyd, Jason wrote a beautiful, heartfelt script that takes the real DNA of the first 2 films and transfers that directly into the third. The next generation, it hands the legacy off to a new generation of stars, players, actors, and characters. Murray, who was also confirmed to be reprising Peter Venkman, was positive about the script. Ramis' daughter Violet, whom Reitman befriended during the filming of the first film, gave her blessing after reading an early version of the screenplay, saying that the story captures the spirit of what the old movies are. She occasionally visited the sets and was at the insistence of Reitman and prop master Guillaume Deleu photographed wearing her late father's proton pack prop from the first film, while prop makers from the hand prop room in Los Angeles we're building lighter replicas for McKenna Grace to wear. Bro, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Like,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I'm sure there's a lot of emotions on that set.
Oh, absolutely.
And like even like you and I cry whenever we watch this movie. But like I couldn't imagine just being like going onto a set and just be like your father's legacy, essentially. Because
Right.
that's what Harold was most known for.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
And like he loved the franchise. He loved the characters. Just being like, and you are able to see what your father built and know that he would have loved this. Are you playing with your microphone?
No, trying to get it away from me without making too much noise.
With the script centered around family, Reitman felt it was appropriate to change the backdrop from New York to the American West to give the film a new identity and different color palette. The script was structured to slowly reveal the connection to Egon Spengler's character, which would bring in elements of earlier Ghostbusters films. For example, the film sees Aykroyd's character returning to running Ray's occult books, as seen in Ghostbusters 2. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but the
Uh-huh.
only events of the original film are directly referenced. Nice. Chef's kiss. Mwah. There is a lot of practical effects in this movie, and they blended it really well.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Because, like, there was a scene with a dog that me and him argued if it was real or not.
Which, spoiler, it is. It's a real
Mm-hmm.
practical effect up until like a couple scenes later.
Yeah, because, like, when it's running, it's fake, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, like, other than that, beautiful. Some of the best effects in the franchise.
Oh yeah.
Filming began in July 12th of 2019, 3 days before my birthday, and ran all the way through October 18th.
Hmm.
So about 3 months worth of filming, and it was all on location. No real sound stages needed, except for like maybe a part with there was a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
But like other than that, who needs a backdrop, a sound stage for a movie like this?
Right.
The thing about Ghostbusters is its environment is a character as much as the characters are.
Absolutely.
Because like I feel like without New York, the first two Ghostbusters movies wouldn't have worked, and that shows how important it is. And I think that's all I have for production tales. Now, onto the budget and box office.
Joke's on you. I don't remember.
the the total cost of this movie. Thank you for making fun of my speech impediment. Yes. Was $75 million.
Okay.
How much did you think this movie made? Since you forgot.
Let's say 534.
Wrong.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
322.
Lower.
218.
204.
Are you serious?
You were closer than when you were last recording.
Joke's on you. I don't remember that either.
Just like I didn't remember to hit the record button. It's funny now. I can make fun of myself for it.
I'm still gonna hit you later, though.
It's not like a big return,
No, not by a long shot.
but like it's a legacy sequel. You're only going to get the people to like watch it in theaters that are like diehard Ghostbusters fans.
Like it didn't make enough to make a good impression at first, but it made enough for the company to realize, hey, People still like it. Let's make more.
They like it when they acknowledge the original films. They like it when they get to see the OGs in action. And understandable. It's like there's a reason the first two were as successful as they were. But like you can't I feel like you just can't take that formula away
No.
and expect it to work. Because honestly, Ghostbusters is one of those lightning in a bottle kind of things.
Right.
But like once you take away the ingredients that made that lightning, you're not going to have it.
No.
That's like why I said 2016 is not a bad movie. It's just not it.
Yeah, you're right. It's about a killer clown.
All right, Skeletor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not Jared Leto either.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
You don't want to be in 30 Seconds to Mars?
No.
Understandable. All right, guys. At this point, we're going to give you your spoiler warning. If you have not seen it, go
Pause the
watch it now.
podcast. Yeah, pause the podcast. Go watch it now. Or watch it while you listen to the podcast.
And then
Rewatch the podcast.
rewatch the movie.
Or don't. Or just stop here and go watch the movie, then come back.
Yeah, one of those options. But yeah, Caden, are we ready to get into Ghostbusters Afterlife?
I believe so.
All right. All right. The movie starts with a proton blast and a death cloud. Caden, already the effects in this movie are looking top notch.
Oh, absolutely.
And so then we have an old pickup truck is fleeing the Shandor Mining Company. Caden, where have we heard that name before? Oh, sorry. He just took whiff of his inhaler. My apologies. Obviously, it's from the first movie with Ivo Shandor, who is the person who made Dana Barrett's apartment building with selenium. And then this truck is attacked by a ghost.
Yes.
And then whoever this is, which is supposed to be Egon. This is Egon. He has some kind of device connected to his house with gigantic batteries outside in a field. We're not really quite sure what it is at this point, but whatever it is, it fails. And so he goes into his house, locks the door, and there is a cool mist. I love the mist effects in this movie. And they have that eerie
Before the mist shows up, we actually see Egon put a ghost trap in the floorboard, hiding it.
Yes, that is true. And back to this cool mist, they have that same sound bite that they used in the original one in the library when all the papers were flying out that eerie music. I love that use. And Egon's sitting in a chair with a PKE meter. Caden, do you want to say or do you want me to?
So the PKE, right?
Mm-hmm.
The PKE meter goes nuts.
And it turns into a taser.
Yeah, which he doesn't use.
No.
But it shuts off for half a second before the chair Egon is sitting in is kind of sprung from by the ghost.
Kind of like what happened with Dana in the first one.
Yes. And the ghost kills him.
and we see a spirit orb.
Vacate from the house.
Yeah. But then the PKE meter starts to light up. Then we cut to a new family with Trevor, who is played by Finn Wolfhard, Phoebe by McKenna Grace, and Callie by Carrie Coon.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know whose family this is. All we know is that they're being evicted.
Because, wait, Callie? That's the
she's
okay.
behind on her payments, I
Yes.
think.
She's a single mother with 2 kids, and Phoebe is a little monster that likes to mess with electricals.
Let's just say she is of Egon's level of intelligence or more. I would say maybe a little bit more because of being raised in like the modern setting or whatever.
Mm.
But Egon's pretty smart.
Oh, yeah.
But they are told that their grandfather, Callie's father, just passed away, and that they need to go settle everything or whatever. So either way, they get evicted from their home, and they travel to Summerville to live in Egon's farmhouse. Caden, what is the state of this farmhouse?
Not decrepit, but almost uncared for. And there's papers everywhere. There's scratching, scribblings all over the place.
And as they get to the driveway, there's a bunch of tin, like sheet metal, in the driveway that recites Revelations 6:12, which, for those of you who know Ghostbusters, that was the section of the Bible that Ray was talking about in the first movie about like the apocalypse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all like worded out on Egon's driveway as you're driving into his house. And Phoebe has to lockpick this house.
And it's so funny.
Yeah, because Callie's like, "Dear, will you please break into your grandfather's house?" No, so nonchalantly. It's all good. And as soon as we get in the house, we have a bunch of book stacks. Asymmetrical book stacking. No human would stack books like this.
No.
And there's a bunch of dates on the ceiling in his house. They don't really go into detail what those are until later on in the movie. And we experience an earthquake. Earthquakes are going to be very, very important later on in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoebe finds the PKE meter. She don't really know what it is. Well, understandable.
Because, she's young.
Yeah.
And this is, Ghostbusters were well before her time.
And then we get a surprise return from Janine. Janine Melnitz. Go ahead. She took care of Egon's money. Quote unquote money.
There was no money.
Yeah.
There was never any money. So Egon, or the mysterious grandfather, pretty much left his family with a bunch of debt.
And a dirt farm.
Yeah, a dirt farm.
They literally called Egon the dirt farmer.
Which, but this is something I found out. Janine, for those of you that have seen the show, is actually the grandma from Young Sheldon.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know that.
Yeah, Annie Potts was in a lot of things.
I know that now.
So the family goes to essentially kind of like an old 50s diner where like the waitresses wear like the roller skates and they roll the food out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor starts filling out an application after seeing a cute girl. Fair enough, I guess. And this is when we learn that Egon is called the dirt farmer from
Yeah.
one of the waitresses. And so they go home, and Phoebe takes the PKE meter up to her bedroom, and there's a chessboard there. Phoebe starts playing ghost chess.
Because the chessboard gets knocked off.
Mm-hmm. And so she like moves a piece or whatever.
And then she goes to bed.
And then she wakes up and it moves. But before we get that, Trevor's walking around at night trying to get a cell signal. Caden, what does he find in the garage?
The old original Ecto 1. Stop it. Now, Ecto 1 has seen some much better days. It's like the window tints are peeling, the battery's not working at all. One surprised me if the tires are flat, it's covered in dust and dirt. It's just sight for sore eyes.
It would be enough to make Ray cry.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, we learn that Phoebe is attending summer school.
Ghost chest.
Yeah, sorry. One of the pieces moved, and so Phoebe moves another one of her pieces, and this will become a running gag throughout the movie. Caden, how funny is Phoebe?
She's it's so funny because she's just like really emotionless character, and then just out of nowhere she'll be like, why can't you trust Adams? Because they make up everything. And she says it with such a straight face, and I love her jokes. They're so funny.
It's so dry. It's so straight. But she pulls it off so flawlessly. It has no business being as funny as what it is.
Oh, I love it. Because I laugh every time.
And like we know what the jokes are, but every time it still gets us. No business being that funny.
You don't get much better than that.
No. And then Trevor heads into work, and he's pretty much getting every crappy fast food job that he can on his first day. Inventory, cleaning out the floor stuff or whatever. Lovely. You know what that's like, don't you?
No, actually.
Oh.
Because I don't work in an old-timey 1950s roller skate diner.
Yay! Then we meet Mr. Gary Gruberson, a.k.a. Paul Rudd.
Love this character.
Gary is like the greatest thing to happen to Ghostbusters. Okay, one of the greatest things to happen to Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Since the video game. Because Paul Rudd's kind of charm just meshes so well with the kind of Ghostbusters humor.
Right.
Because, like, you can buy him being smart, but, like, his sarcastic wittiness, he kind of resembles a younger Bill Murray in his humor, but Bill Murray's much more cutthroat. If you want to say it like that, he's much more abrasive. Let's say it like that. He's much more abrasive.
Yeah, I think that word works a little better.
And so instead of teaching, Gary just turns on Cujo on VHS.
Because that's what the
Summerville school has.
The Summerville Summer School. Oh, God. That's all they run off of.
Oh,
still.
yeah.
I would hate it there.
And Phoebe meets Podcast, a.k.a. the new Dan Aykroyd.
I wouldn't go that far.
He tries.
He tries, and you notice it. And it's not a bad thing.
No.
For the role that he was given,
he completes the assignment.
Yeah. Which, this is another one of those cases of all the actors do a very good job with a very good script.
Absolutely.
Which those are honestly some of my favorite movies.
Well, yeah, because like they
It
know.
goes well.
I know, because they know what they want from the characters. They know what they want from the actors, and they find just the right people, to play them.
Right.
And it just moves so naturally. And this is where we learn that Gary is a seismologist.
Because Phoebe ends up walking back into the back of his classroom,
Mm-hmm.
back into like his teacher study, I would assume. And he's like, "Hey, there's a pretty cool movie going on out there about a killer dog." And she notices he's got a seismic map of
Mm-hmm.
Summerville.
And like he like tries to like be like, hey, this is what this is. She's like, I know I'm not an idiot. He's like, okay, smarty pants.
Then take it for one. And she's like, there was a triangle pun. There's a triangle pun.
Oh, because he was like, I was trying to triangulate where the earthquakes are coming from. And she was like, try, because
Do you
I'm
know
not.
how many sides are in a triangle? He's like, yeah, I do. And she's like, okay, I thought you were just being obtuse.
These jokes are going to kill me one of these days.
They're so good. Don't act like they're not.
Oh, I love the jokes, but just how ridiculously funny they are is what's going to kill me. And so we cut back to Trevor at work, and we meet. We learn the girl's name. Her name is Lucky, and they kind of grow closer a little bit. They're kind of becoming friends.
Yeah.
They get a little chemistry, banter, a little back and forth. And then we get a little more scenes of Phoebe and podcast. They're kind of becoming good friends. And I started writing down in my notes P and P whenever they're together.
Phoebe and podcast.
Yeah. So we get P and P
Stupid.
go to the Shandor mines, and they find a weird wall that has like sketchings on it.
I would say almost like hieroglyphs.
And we learn that, and we see that this is all like Gozer stuff.
Yeah.
So like if you haven't put it back together, we fight Gozer again.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can kind of like as the story will go on, you kind of understand why Gozer is the main villain in this. And like they kind of like you will kind of understand like why you would feel like this would be a natural continuation of the first movie.
Oh yeah.
Because it definitely feels like this is like a natural second round
Right.
from Gozer, because you feel like the real threat this time, instead of like the Manhattan Cross Rip, which is what the events of the first Ghostbusters movie are called,
Right.
was just like essentially like a little showcase of power.
And that's a lot of power to showcase.
Oh yeah. And then we learn that these are selenium mines. And Phoebe's like, who wants selenium? There's nothing worth anything about it. And Podcast doesn't really know. So.
But we know.
Oh yeah. Because we Ghostbuster fans. Yo.
Stop.
And we get more ghost chess.
But
I can't tell who's winning or not. But I know, like, I think this is the part where, like,
the ghost actively plays with
yeah,
Phoebe.
because it like knocks a piece like clear off the other side of the room or whatever.
I think the ghost has the upper hand. Or maybe no, I think Phoebe does, because I think she ends up taking 2 pieces.
Maybe we'd have to like watch like the specific scenes of the chess.
Right.
But then the PK meter starts lighting up again. And so she follows it throughout the house, and it leads her to the floor puzzle where the trap was hid, where Egon hid his trap.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't really started to figure it out yet,
Egon's the ghost.
yeah.
And knowing that makes it all the more tearful.
Because then you realize, like, hey, Egon is a part of the story. Egon never really left. Egon is there. You just can't see him. But he is doing whatever it takes to help. And like that fits Egon.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And so she takes the trap to school the next day, and Phoebe and Podcast are messing with it while Gary is showing Child's Play today, which, as you don't know, is the first Chucky movie.
Yeah.
And Gary's like, "Where'd you find this, man? This is cool. This is a neat replica." And they're like, "Of what?" Like, it's a ghost trap, man.
A what?
Like, come on, ghosts in the 80s? Like, excuse me, sir? And so he shows him a YouTube video of the Ghostbusters. And of course, it close-ups to Egon, and it cuts right to Phoebe. So, like, if the film kind of quote unquote treats you kind of stupid, just like throwing it in your face, like, hey, dude, it's Egon's family, bro. It's
Yeah.
Egon's family. I kind of like it, but like after watching it so many times, like you definitely see where it's trying to like force feed you the information of like hinting at, hey, dude, it's Egon's family.
Right.
But like it's not bad enough where it's like it ruins the movie
No.
for you. So the three of them, which is Phoebe, Podcast, and Gary, trying to open the ghost trap. Caden, how's that go?
So,
I'll just let you take this whole sequence because you love it so much.
Gary, Podcast, and Phoebe end up deciding to hotwire the battery of
Gary's car.
Nope. To the bus.
To the bus. It's sitting on Gary's car.
Yes.
Sorry.
And Gary hands Phoebe one of those like science glasses, and she's like, 0.5 millimeter of plastic. You think that's really gonna protect us?
He's
No?
like, science isn't safe. Science is like punk rock. Come on.
So they back up a bit, and Gary tells Podcast to start the engine, and he does. Nothing happens.
He like kicks like the foot pedal.
Uh-huh. He presses it like several times and just can't get it to work. And so he walks up to it real carefully, and he pokes it.
Barely touches it.
Doesn't even tap it, and it springs open. And that's one of the dog demons.
Mhm.
That is the
I think it's the Keymaster?
Keymaster. Yes, I believe so. Because we're back when Gozer territory.
Mm-hmm.
When there's one,
There's another.
Keymaster and the Gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm. And Gary's entire windshield is just destroyed by this.
Shattered.
And they're like, should we get out of here? And Gary's like, yeah, I'm liable. And so Gary brings the kids home, and Podcast and just has his head through where Gary's windshield was.
Like a little dog.
And Gary's just like pulling little pieces of glass out and just throwing it out as he's driving.
Which it's such a fun sequence to watch.
It just shows how pure Gary really is. Because like I think he's one of the best things about these two movies. Because like I think he has some of the most heart. Besides McKenna Grace.
Yeah.
But I think those two are definitely like the stars of these two Ghostbusters movies. And I really do hope we get to see more of them with those two characters in them.
Right.
Because they're a good, strong foundation for the future of the franchise.
Absolutely.
But Callie and Gary, who have met at the school, they kind of have this really weird, it's flirtatious, but it's like really not flirting. It's
awkward.
It's awkward romance.
Yeah.
And I love Podcast comment to her, to Phoebe, as they're reading a book on Gozer, who's like, I think Mr. Gruberson's trying to bone your mom, dude. And he's like, aren't you disgusted by that? It's like, of course. But I show emotion differently. Inside, I'm vomiting.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And at this point, we get a big old Gozer lore dump for all those who don't know anything about Gozer. We're the first Ghostbusters film to get all their backstory, pretty much.
It's a lot to take in.
And like, he does it pretty good.
He does.
He keeps it as simple as he possibly can. And then we cut back to Trevor at the restaurant with Lucky and some other teens who work at the restaurant. They head up to the mines and they sit on like a mine cart thing.
I almost think it's an oil rig.
Some kind of swinging, lowering bucket seat thing.
Right.
And while they're sitting on there, all we hear is Gozer.
Yeah, because that's not terrifying at all.
So the kids jump off and there's just like a gigantic beam of like spectral energy.
About ready to burst out from the bottom of the mine
And
shaft.
honestly, it's kind of like a jump scare because of how just immediately it happens with no music cue or whatever. And so then it cuts back to everybody at the farmhouse, and Gary finds an old map of Summerville that he says is in like a dead language and stuff. And Gary's like, "Isn't this like a cool find? This is so cool." And Callie essentially has shut herself off from science, from curiosity, anything like that, because she thinks Egon didn't love her enough to stay.
Right.
And so she just hates all of science. And so Phoebe's walking around outside with the PKE meter again. And it tells her to go down this fire pole in one of the sheds. And we essentially find Egon's bat cave. I'm calling it that.
It's not a bat cave. It's a secret lab.
And Batman has a lab in the bat cave.
He's also got a giant prehistoric dinosaur statue and a 50-foot penny.
I'm sure Egon's got something cool down there like that.
He's got proton packs.
That's cool enough. And he's got samples of things.
Of things, yes.
Remember the spores, molds, and fungus. That's what Egon likes. And then it, like Caden said, it's a bunch of old Ghostbuster stuff.
Yeah, it's old technology ranging from
proton packs to
PKE meters,
some experimental things that he was working on,
old computer monitors, all that stuff.
And this is when we really kind of get Egon and Phoebe one-on-one. And like she's like talking to him, and we have like essentially like the Pixar lamp, and it's just like acting as like essentially like a pointer finger or like a communication wave,
like a head for Egon, because one scene is Egon points or guides Phoebe to an old rusted proton pack. So she takes it apart and she starts wondering how to repair it, but she's talking out loud. And then clear across the room, Egon points the
light towards the tools necessary to fix it.
And the toolbox pulls out. And then she asks for some needle nose pliers or whatever. And he points directly to it. So he's here to help her.
And this is where it kind of starts getting emotional. Because like I've lost I've lost some grandparents. That kind of feeling, it's very, when you're in that position, it's super, super emotional.
Oh, absolutely.
because like you would give anything to be able to talk to him. So I'm gonna move on before both of us start crying of any nature.
Smart choice.
But he helps her fix the proton pack, and that night she watches an ad, like the original Ghostbusters ad, like the one where they're like, "Have you seen or witnessed strange noises in the middle of the night?
Have you been spooked? What is it? Have you been startled by a
Spook,
spook, specter, or
ghost?
ghost?
If you have, don't wait another minute. Pick up the phone and call the professionals. Call the Ghostbusters." That one from the first movie.
Yeah.
And so she writes down the phone number. And so she kind of keeps it from her mom because she comes in and she tells her that she has a date with Gary. And this is where we learn that Gary is his first name, because Phoebe's like, "Gary Gruberson. You're going on a date with Gary Gruberson."
And she doesn't want to call it a date, but it's a date.
It's a date. And so the next day, we get proton pack blasting.
With Phoebe and Podcast.
Caden, how does it feel to be turning on a proton pack for the first time in God knows how long?
Oh, it's a magnificent sight to watch.
And we even get to wrangle up a first ghost ish.
Kind of.
We get our first encounter with a ghost in a proton pack. We get to meet Muncher, which is. Oh, go ahead.
Whole thing is that he eats metal.
He is this movie's Slimer.
Yeah.
They do that, and it is smart to have a ghost kind of like Slimer that is kind of like that wholesome, is like non-malevolent spirit,
Yeah.
but is still a pain in the butt to catch, because like that still brings in that vibe and that heart of the original movie.
Right.
Trevor is working on the Ecto-1 while they're doing that, and Egon's helping him.
Yep. Because Trevor goes to start the engine because he thinks he's got everything. And he starts getting discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And we cut to a little quick shot at the engine. And you see some loose wires
Just like fixing itself.
Yep. Slowly twisting back into place, repairing themselves.
And then it starts right up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hood just closes. And it reveals a wheat field.
Prime for driving.
And we get essentially a Dukes of Hazzard joyride sequence with the Ecto-1. I'm pretty sure it was not meant to handle that kind of stuff.
I mean, it fights Ghost. Yeah, I'm sure it can handle anything.
So, but yeah. And then it cuts to date night with Callie and Gary.
Quote unquote date night.
And they're eating in like a little Chinese restaurant. And they're just talking about why Callie hates science and about the kids a little bit. Nothing really important. They talk about the kid's dad, and he's not in the picture. They don't really tell us anything about the dad, which is fine. We don't really need him in the story. Then it cuts to Podcast and Phoebe walking down the road, and Trevor gives them a ride.
Yep.
Caden, what all kinds of neat stuff do we find in the Ecto-1 these days?
Well, there's a rover ghost trap, which I was speculating on this. So Podcast always carries like with him a boom mic and these like
raised goggles.
Yep. I almost wonder if he learned a way to connect the goggles to a mini camera on the rover.
I'm pretty sure there is, because there is like a little lens thing on the front of the RC car.
And in addition to that, there's also a new gunner seat.
Yeah. Dude, it would have been so cool to see one of the OGs on a gunner seat in the original movie.
They'd probably be freaking out the entire time.
I feel like Peter would be the one on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, okay, let's get a ghost. And that he's Canadian, but that's my closest Bill Murray impression.
But it's a looking back on it, from what I remember, the original Ecto 1, or at least the one I remember from the game,
Mm-hmm.
like you would put the packs on like this little tray that slid in and out
Yeah,
of.
because it's an ambulance.
Yeah.
So they put the packs in the back and they just sat in the front. There was like no real room for other stuff.
But now there's no spare packs or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it only looks like there's enough room for 3, maybe 4 people at most.
Yeah. So they're chasing Muncher
Mm-hmm.
through town. They destroy a lot of property, which
The
is
restaurant that Trevor and Lucky work at.
Muncher like flies right in between Gary and Callie. We're getting a lot of property damage in true Ghostbusters fashion.
Of course.
Gotta have it. And of course, they chase Muncher to the mines.
Mm-hmm. But before Muncher can get to the mines, they manage to catch him.
Yep. And they get pulled over by the cops.
Yep.
This takes us into I think is one of the best parts of the movie.
Oh, probably one of the most emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Not because there's still
There's a lot more we got to unpack first.
Oh yeah.
But
it's up there.
So they're arrested, and Phoebe asks, "Don't I get one phone call?" And the sheriff's like, "Yeah, sure." So who you gonna call? When I first heard that in theaters, I was like, "He said the thing. He said the thing."
I can agree with that. He did say that.
Caden, who does she call?
What's the name of the store?
Ray's a cult.
Uh-huh.
She calls Ray, man.
Which I love how the Ghostbusters old phone number now
Mhm.
just goes to Ray.
And I love how like he has the Revelation 612 tattoo in his arm,
Mhm.
which is another nice little tie-in. And I love how he's like little like painting or something, and he just like looks at the phone. He's like, "I'm not answering it. I'm not answering it. I don't care what it is. I'm not answering it." But it keeps ringing. And he's just like, "Oh, fine, I'll answer it." He's like, "Ray's a cult. We're closed." He's like, "Wait, I'm in prison." It's like, "Ah, the slammer, huh? I've been there once or twice myself."
Nothing I can do for you, but I'll hear your story.
Like that right there just shows how good of a person Ray is.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like talking about just like Ray's like the one uncle that you love more than anything.
Right.
And so we learn all about Egon and how after the second movie the sightings just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pete thought they did too well, so he went back to teaching. Ray went into finance and he became extremely successful. And Ray just kind of went back to the bookstore, and one day Egon just took everything and left.
Proton packs, PKE meters, even Ecto 1. He
Just
took it all.
no warning, just gone. And so they didn't they hated him for it.
Yeah.
And so they said he called him about 10 years later, saying about a rising storm and how the end of the world was coming from underneath us. And Ray was like, "I wanted to believe him. I really, really did. But like it just wasn't helping."
Right.
So, and then Phoebe tells him that he died. And you can just like see
The like regret and grief in Ray's face.
and it's just such a because like he lost a brother,
Yeah.
and that is such a hard feeling. I know, I lost one of my brothers, but man, just thinking about it, this movie gets more and more emotional the more we get through it.
Yeah, the more you really think about it.
But like, the sheriff takes the phone away from her, which I don't know if they can do that.
Yeah, I don't.
But Ray's like, kid, and then he just like looks he just is just left with everything. He just gets dumped on. But then we don't see him anymore.
There was one part that she was about to tell him before she got cut off, and that she was Egon's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm. He probably would have like, wait, Egon had a family? And of course, and I love this. Phoebe has an angry side.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, she like straight up squares up to this sheriff who's like 4 feet taller than her. And she's about ready to shoot him with a proton pack.
And the thing I find so funny is as she's aiming the proton pack at him, he's reaching for his gun.
I know. And like, and even like, cause like Gary and Callie are there because they got called because it's a kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they show, and Gary sees the proton pack. He's like, oh, that's cool. Where'd you guys find that? He's like, did you catch anything? They're like, yeah, it's in the trap. He's like, awesome. But no, like Callie's starting to be like the stern mom, and she's like hating that she's finding all of her dad's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But no, so like Phoebe definitely has a dark side that you don't want to be on the opposite end of.
No, or you'll be looking at the concentrated stream of protons that come from the pack.
Ugh. I don't want neutrons fired at my face, thank you. It looks like it stings enough as it is. So, as that happens, Gozer's wall cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gary and everybody gets home, and he drops everybody off. And then Gary and Callie are like talking about a second date. So like, hey, working really well there, man. And he gets a kiss, and he's like, whoa, you're moving way too fast. You need to calm down. He's like, my life is a dumpster fire. You don't want any of this. I love their chemistry.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like everybody can have chemistry with Paul Rudd.
Everybody in the movie has good chemistry.
Caden, do you want to talk about Gary's trip to Walmart?
Before we do that, we need to talk about like the conversation in the house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not important, but
It's emotionally important.
yeah.
She pretty much tells
Callie
tells Phoebe, like, I never liked my dad. He never thought I was important. You should not put stock in him.
Yeah.
And Phoebe's like, he was just like me. Why wouldn't you tell me my grandfather is Egon Spengler? Like, there is so much emotion in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this writing is too good to be a Ghostbusters movie.
And the worst part is, in my opinion, Callie's just unleashing all this pent up emotion that she had towards her father
And just letting it on her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how much Phoebe is Egon.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's one of the things Phoebe said. She's like, he's just like me.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to keep moving before one of us starts crying.
Yeah.
Caden, hit to the Walmart.
Absolutely. So we got to Walmart, and we're following Paul Rudd, or Gary Gruberson,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just walking down the aisles.
He's getting like ice cream.
Yep. And he hears way off in the distance a lady yell.
He's like,
Not my problem. So he goes to look down some more aisles for some more stuff, and he ends up seeing marshmallows. There's one problem though. This specific bag of marshmallows that he's looking at, it's like jumping around.
And this is Stay Puffed marshmallows.
Mini puff.
We get hundreds of mini puffs.
Oh yeah, from every marshmallow bag, even if it's not the Stay Puft brand.
They become Stay Puffs.
Yep.
And these mini mellows, which I wrote down,
Are vicious.
These guys are incredibly malicious, and they are incredibly suicidal.
Yeah, because
one's like walking on a lit grill. One's playing in a blender and just like turns the blender off on one of them.
And before any of that, Gary goes to poke one, thinking they're,
A little
not
cute.
angry. They're cute. So he goes to poke one and it laughs before it bites him. And it draws blood. And it's like, that is a marshmallow that just drew blood.
And there's a bunch of them that's on a Roomba.
Mm
And one of them gets ran over and there's just like marshmallow,
hmm.
just like,
Marshmallow streaks.
yeah.
Yeah, they are vicious towards themselves.
And Gary's like, okay, I'm out of here, man. Then who do we meet, Caden?
So Gary starts running away from any of the marshmallow products or wherever they could be. He runs past or tries to run past a dog food aisle and he sees the Keymaster just chowing down on a whole bag of dog food.
And this is what we were talking about when we say we can't tell what's real or what's CGI.
So the Keymaster's whole head is buried in dog food
Mm-hmm.
and it's moving around.
Yeah, the bag is moving and stuff. Like it's making like real sounds and stuff.
And Keymaster looks up, the bag falls. That's all practical.
Mm-hmm.
Gary sees this and runs as quick as he
No.
can.
He starts moving back slowly because he's like,
Oh,
because then the Roomba comes back. No.
no, he throws something at.
So Gary starts walking back while its head is still in the dog food. But the
Oh.
Roomba hits his foot and the little marshmallows are screaming. And that's what causes the Keymaster to look up.
Mm.
And so then it just like snarls at him. He just throws the ice cream at its head and starts running.
And the running part, that is CGI.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, with how good it looks, it doesn't matter.
And so he slides in through the hood of his car to get in. And then he just cuts back up and the Keymaster's just sitting on his hood. I think that might be real. Maybe.
Yeah.
But like it's just sitting there and you just see like his front tires just deflate from how heavy this thing is.
And it's on all fours. It's about as tall as Paul Rudd is.
And um we get just like a growl and like a jump scare.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna assume he's possessed.
Yeah.
Which he is.
Shocker there.
Somebody getting possessed by the Keymaster in a Ghostbusters movie? Come on.
Yeah.
So the kids are now investigating the Shandor mines. And so we learn that Shandor built the mines for selenium to channel paranormal activity. And he built a Gozer temple in there. They made those carvings and the hieroglyphs or whatever.
Right.
And so inside they go deeper in to the mines,
Mhm.
and we find the body of Ivo Shandor preserved perfectly in a glass case.
And I really, really like this scene. Just the way everything's explained.
So this is where the continuity can get kind of blurry, because if you consider the video game Ghostbusters 3, this kind of conflicts with the Ivo Shandor stuff that we get in this movie. It's not completely like, oh, hey, like you kill him over here so he can't be over there. It's not that specifically, but it can definitely kind of like lead some questions of like, why would Shandor be doing the stuff he did in this movie when he had this?
Right.
Just those kind of things. It's not completely ruining the story if you play the video game, then watch this movie.
But to be fair, it has been stated multiple times the game isn't canon anymore.
So
So it's just a fun little side story.
it's kind of like a movie timelines. You could do 1, 2, or 1, 2 in the video game, and then 1, 2, and then these movies.
Yeah.
So it's what you as the viewer find to be canonical.
Yeah.
Um,
Or if you want, you could do 1, 2, the video game, 2016, Afterlife, and then Present Empire. You could do it all in one story.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all just your preference.
And technically, continuity wise, 2016 don't work in the sequel sense because of reasons I don't want to tell you because you haven't seen it. But I understand where you're coming from.
Like I said, it's however you want to watch it,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to think about it.
And so we look up at the ceiling and we see the same dates
Mm-hmm.
that were on Egon's ceiling. These are years connected to terrible things in the world.
During human history.
I forget what the first two are, but there was 1945,
Mm-hmm.
which is like what didn't happen.
Yeah.
1984, which is the Manhattan Cross Rip.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 2021.
Which is the year that they're currently in.
So they learned that these numbers are a countdown.
Which, what I find funny, there was another set of numbers.
Hmm.
It was like 2159.
Hmm.
But after 2021, there was one last set of numbers.
They could potentially be leading into that, but I don't know if they would want to do that because then they'd have to use Gozer again.
And they'd have to go way into the future.
Yeah. So I think I want to just maybe just like a constant loop of those numbers, perhaps. I don't know.
Hmm.
But there's also this bottomless pit behind them.
The almost bottomless pit.
And so all of a sudden an earthquake happens.
Mm-hmm.
And what the earthquake is a surge of supernatural energy just rising from essentially a pit to hell,
Yeah.
which is essentially what it is. And so Egon has proton beams set up. There's like 3 or 4 of them.
4 of them.
And there's a PKE meter that's connected to them. And so whenever it reaches critical, the proton beams aim at each other and it crosses the streams and just blasts the supernatural energy.
And it's such a cool scene to watch.
And this is kind of when Egon's story kind of hits even harder, because this is when we learn that Egon.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No one believed him, but he still worked to save everyone.
Egon gave up everything to stop this.
Yeah.
He left his family. He left his friends. He pretty much martyred himself to watch the line. And that's just so sad, but also like that's what Egon would do.
Absolutely.
Because out of all of them, Egon was the most heroic, because Egon knew what needed to be done, and because how logical he is, he knew that would be the logical thing for him to do.
I feel like if Egon would have told the others, at least Ray would have helped for sure.
Mm-hmm. But like the thing is, like they openly admit they didn't want to believe him.
Yeah.
Because they were like, well, we already defeated that. What else could there be? We stopped an invasion of essentially hell already. Like it's nothing. It's just you wanting to still be a Ghostbuster. And I can understand that kind of mindset, especially when they were failing and everybody's leaving and Egon not wanting that to end. And I get that 110%. But like, when you're in the business that you guys are in, it never hurts to not look into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we can't say what happened in between 2 and the events when Egon left. Like, we can't say 100% what happened, like if there was any strain on anybody or anything. Because like we don't even know who Callie's mother is. Like there's at least 10 years amount of time where we don't know.
Oh yeah, for
Cause like
sure.
and like I think that helps because then you can kind of fill in the gaps yourself, or like maybe it might come up later. Who knows? But like them telling Egon being like this is completely in character. Um, and so cuts back to the house with Callie,
Mm-hmm.
and she finds a PKE meter.
Yep.
This is another one that might make us cry.
Oh, absolutely.
So she goes down the fire.
Now, the
Go
fire
ahead. Go ahead.
the fire pole.
Yes.
Now, just as a reminder, she pretty much went her whole life thinking her father didn't care about her,
And
thinking he left her to do stupid science.
she kind of pretty much just like, you don't care about me, I don't care about you. You
Yeah.
don't want me, I don't want you. And so Callie goes downstairs, and the stuff kind of flickers on. Egon's definitely there.
Oh yeah.
And so she's just looking at his stuff, and he looks, and she pretty much walks up to like his main desk, and there's a picture of her on his desk. And she starts to like, oh. And so then like you see like the lamp again move. And so it just like looks at her, and she starts crying, and then it like looks at a wall.
And it's just a cork board full of pictures of her.
He followed her entire life
Mm-hmm.
from this house, and he made sure he had a picture of everything.
Every birthday, every dance recital, every major event that could have happened in her
Mm-hmm.
life, he had a picture of.
And so now she's just starting to break down. And we had a discussion about this. So that mist starts rolling down the fire pole.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we don't know if Egon wasn't able to intervene, if like he wasn't strong enough, or if that other energy canceled him out. We don't know. But there's a jump scare of the gatekeeper
Keymaster. No, yeah, you're right. My bad.
taking Callie. And it is terrifying if you're not waiting for it,
Oh yeah.
because all it is right at the screen. So now,
Ooh, I do have one thing.
Mhm.
I almost wonder if did they ever say if Egon and his wife got divorced?
let's say we know nothing, because
Because
we don't
sorry,
even know if he got married. We don't know anything about Egon, because like that's why I feel like there's at least a few more movies of just this storyline to fill in some of those gaps.
yeah. What I almost think is Egon did get married
Mm-hmm.
and his wife was sending him the pictures.
Yeah.
Because that in my mind would be a logical explanation on how he got the pictures.
Right. So like she knew he had to go because she understood.
She believed him. I I think she would probably be the only person that did believe him.
I just feel like I don't know if it was easier for her to let Callie think that Egon didn't want her than having to explain her the whole thing.
Well, you also got to think, even if she did try to explain it to her, it was probably easier for Callie
Right.
to think that he just didn't want her,
Right.
especially if it happened at a young age.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. Um, and so the gatekeeper and Zool have their bodies.
Isn't Zool
Zool is the gatekeeper.
okay?
Sorry, the key.
Keymaster and Zool.
Yes, the keymaster and Zool have their bodies.
Yes.
And so he cuts to Gary destroying Egon's setup.
During another earthquake.
And so then this pyramid just gets released. And it
From
is so cool to watch.
it comes from where the
The
architect,
hieroglyphs.
Yep.
And it just like folds out like a 3D picture.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a cool effect.
I love it.
Um
No, I
and,
think that might be practical.
It could possible because they've talked about miniatures. It's entirely possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, and so the kids are back in Egon's Bat Cave,
Hmm.
quote unquote, and they were like just looking for all this stuff, and they learn the whole farm is a trap. He wasn't just digging a field. He put hundreds of, traps in the field,
Hmm.
and he was using it to draw because he knew that trap thing wasn't going to hold forever. He knew Gozer would get out, and he knew that it would come for him. So he set up a whole trap at his house. And so this is when we start getting the plan. We're taking Gozer out, man, once and for all.
Oh, we did forget a little section. The kids come across possessed Callie.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of creepy.
It's
It
kind of funny though as
it
well.
it does the whole
Are you the key master?
I am Zool.
Yeah, it. So the kids come back.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky, Trevor, Phoebe, and podcast. They all go back to the Egon farm, and Callie's just sitting in the same armchair that Egon was killed in,
Mm-hmm.
and she looks at the kids, and her eyes are just a deep orange.
Mm-hmm.
And so they start trying to talk to Callie, not Zool, and Zool's like, "There is no Callie, it is Zool."
Which I love the little callbacks they do in this movie. They do it so well.
Oh yeah.
But Callie escapes, and this is when they go down in the basement or cellar or whatever. And we get Carrie, Gary, and Callie. Dude, you loved this part.
I'll let you explain it.
You think you're not going to do it well?
No.
So Gary is essentially has like a ripped shirt, so he's looking like all hunky and
Like a
stuff.
caveman.
And so uh Callie shows up, and she just like magically removes her clothes, and it was replaced with that dress that like Dana was wearing in the first movie.
Hmm.
And so Gary's like, "Oh." And so he like hops down, he's like, "I like your eyes." And then Callie's talking in Sumerian or whatever it is. He's like, "Thanks." And so like he gives her like a little flower, and then you start kissing and stuff. And then it just cuts back to the kids getting all of their the equipment and everything.
Which, thanks to Lucky, they're able to get back into the police station.
Mm-hmm. And so they get Ecto-1, and they're heading off to save the day.
Do you want to explain how they got the equipment?
I'll let you take it because you loved it so much.
All right. So, all the equipment they had, the rover, their traps, their proton packs, it's all hidden behind a jail cell inside of a jail cell. So they're pretty stumped because it's an electronic lock.
Meant to be unpickable.
Yeah. So, podcast of all characters actually comes up with the best idea, the best solution for this problem. And he opens up the RV trap and lets Muncher out. Logan, what does Muncher like to eat on?
He likes to eat on metal, son.
So what does he do?
He eats through the door.
Uh-huh. And I love how he eats just enough for them to get all their equipment out.
And I love how he uses like up and outs. He's like, "Peace, I'm out here, man. Don't follow me no more."
I did my job. I'm going home.
And so they get Ecto-1 after everything. They head to the mines, and they kind of like creep up on the pyramid. And this is when we get the dog forms.
Yes.
So the two do the whole electricity dance thing that's from the first movie, and they turn into dogs. And so Gozer is finally released, and Shandor wakes up.
To greet Gozer.
He's like, "Hello, my queen. I have built this for you so we may rule the world." And she just grabs him by the head and just splits him in half.
very, very gruesome.
It was unexpected when we were watching this. I was like, oh, they're doing this in a PG-13 Ghostbusters movie? Okay.
Granted, it is Gozer,
It is
so
it's bloodless.
bloodless, and
There's no gore or
it
viscera.
there's no chunklets. It's just solid pieces,
Yeah, just like she just like essentially ripped him like paper.
which makes sense, especially if he's been alive through ghost magic for how long?
There ain't nothing in there, man.
Yeah.
um but hell on earth starts to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how in the first movie like a bunch of spirits appeared and terrorized the people. Um and so Caden, how does Phoebe get Gozer's attention for us to trap one of the dogs?
So Phoebe, being the smartest person in the room, walks up to Gozer's pyramid, looks him in the eyes, and says, "What do you call a fish with no eyes?"
He's like,
A fish. And there were more jokes.
what? Because like Gozer's like, are you prepared to die? She's like, no, I'm 12.
Are you? And
And
when
it's like, how dare you say this to me? Kind
and
of.
kind of offended by that.
And so they I forget who it is, but no, the RC car was
Yep.
underneath them.
The RC car was underneath
Callie.
Zool. Yep.
And so they release it, they capture it, and so they save
Callie.
Callie, and they up and out, and then
And this destabilizes
Zool
Gozer.
Gozer. I love the effect
Oh,
of destabilized Gozer
yeah.
because it's essentially like a mist in its
With
form.
electric orange lightning running through
Yeah,
it.
with like orange, what's it called? Nervous system, like nerves.
Mm.
And so that is such a cool effect. I loved it. But they have a car chase, and
Because right now their goal is to keep Zool away from the Keymaster.
yeah, so that way Gozer has no power.
Yeah.
And so they're just driving, and Gary's chasing them in dog form, and Callie's being brought up to speed on everything. She's like, oh my God, my dad loved me. And everybody's like, oh, that's so touching. We're trying to save the world right now.
And she's like, cool, I'm in. What do you want me to do?
And they're like, just stay away from your boyfriend. She's like, boyfriend? And they're like, what happened? He's like, you got kind of humpy. He's like, humpy? What? The banter in these movies are so good.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good. But no, Gary like runs into like one of those metal sidewalk chairs, and they're like, oh my gosh.
I can't remember. Did that stop him? Or
It
did
stopped him for like a second, and he got back up.
Okay.
But Phoebe's like, can you hold on for a second? And she opens the gunner door, blasts Gary, and then closes it and goes back in. She's like, and Phoebe and Callie's like, oh my gosh, Phoebe, you're and she's like, I know, I'm a scientist. Salute.
No.
And so we get back to the farmhouse. Everybody gets in a position, and Phoebe pretty much gets everybody in position, and she's standing where Egon was at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
taunting it,
At the porch of the farmhouse.
holding up the trap, saying, come get it.
And I actually wrote in my notes, the present imitates the past.
Mm-hmm. Definitely mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And so Gozer starts walking into the field, and everybody's like, all right, positions, everybody. We're getting ready here. They turn on the electricity or whatever, and Lucky kicks open the door and just blasts Gozer with a proton pack. And then Callie steps on the pedal, and it fails.
Same as it did with Egon.
And so then Gozer grabs the proton stream and whips Lucky off the porch. And then, like, this is really hard to explain because there's just so much happening in this one little sequence. But Phoebe starts blasting him. Callie chases after her. Trevor and Podcast are at the car. Trevor's trying to use the chair. But there's mini mellows messing with the wiring. And so Podcast just grabs the PKE meter with the shocker and he just starts going to town on him. And so you just see him just covered in marshmallow fluff and everything. And then Gozer gets a hand on the trap and breaks it. And then Lucky gets possessed. All hope seems lost. Caden, what happens?
Screen fades to black. 30 years later. No.
5 years later.
So Gozer gets their true form back. And just as they're about to start walking towards Phoebe, 3 proton streams hit them. The OGs return.
And I love how all you hear is, "Hey, flat top." and Peter's like, "Did you miss us?"
Yeah, because Peter was always
the smart aleck.
The flirty one, even towards Gozer. Kind of.
And he was like, we could have been the greatest power couple, just saying.
But I can't remember. Oh, they crossed the stream on Gozer, and Gozer ends up
uncrossing the streams.
Somehow, Gozer had gotten that much more powerful.
And they're like, "Is this possible? I feel like this shouldn't be possible." And she just like whips them. She like snaps the streams and they go flying into Ecto 1. They're like, "Oh my God, are they dead?" and Ray's like, "I don't remember this being this painful."
And so Ray's just talking up a storm trying to distract Gozer. So
no, Peter is.
Oh, I get their names mixed up. But it's not. And then, Winston.
Yeah.
Peter's talking up a storm so Winston can shoot, only to get shot by Gozer himself.
And Peter's like, "It was worth a try."
And it's just like, at this point, everything seems hopeless until, at this point, Podcast learns about the taser in the PKE. So he starts zapping stuff, and he ends up hitting the car, which jumpstarts it.
And then it cuts to Phoebe over in the field, just like shoots Gozer with a stream. And then Gozer just starts walking towards her and she just starts blasting at her. And we get like one of those energy beam blasts. Struggles. And then she's starting to lose. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, no." And a ghost hand
supports her.
Supports the wand. And it is a full ghost, full embodiment of Egon. And the stand-in was Ivan Reitman, who's directed the first 2 films, who not long after this movie came out also passed away. So knowing that, this part just gets super hard.
Yeah.
Because you know how much emotion and everything is just in this moment now.
In this franchise leading up to this moment.
And so he's
supporting Phoebe, like assuring her it'll be okay.
And then the other 3 get back up and they start blasting her. And then Egon and Phoebe start walking over towards him. And then Trevor is able to shoot a beam at the
silos
to get the battery going back up. And so then Callie starts running for the porch to use the pedal.
Yeah.
And then in this shot, we get all 4 OG Ghostbusters in one more shot together. And I love how, because it kind of slows down a little bit.
It does.
Because you take in the moment, because Winston looks over and he notices a ghost. He's like, "What?" And then he nods Peter, and he's like, "Oh, oh." And Ray's just like over there. He looks like he's about to bawl his eyeballs out. And
Because
then,
they all realize it's Egon.
mhm, and they realize that he's gone or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then Callie hits the trap. They win. And then Phoebe just off and runs to go be with her friends or whatever. And the three guys get to say goodbye. They're all like, and Peter was the one who was like, "Hey, I figured you would have shown up." And Winston's like, "I miss you, my friend." And Ray's like,
I should have believed you.
"And I'm sorry." And so, and he can't say anything, obviously.
Yeah,
So,
because obvious reasons.
and so he just like nods at him.
Like acknowledging.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I interpret it is kind of it's okay.
I understand.
Yeah.
And so Trevor rescues Gary and Lucky.
Yep.
And then Phoebe goes over with him to whatever. Podcast is just covered in
Walks-
marshmallow goop, just like Ray was in the original movie. And so Egon then interacts with Phoebe and Trevor.
And this is the part that kind of
Is that he connects more with Phoebe than Trevor.
which I understand, but at the same time, I feel like
He would know Trevor more.
Yeah, I feel like there should have been some kind of stronger connection with Trevor as well as Phoebe, because he just kind of looks at Trevor.
He like pats him on the shoulder or whatever.
Oh, does he?
Mm-hmm. And then he looks
Goes
to
up,
Callie, and she just like melts in his arms.
runs up to him, starts sobbing, and
Everybody starts crying.
you can just see him like slowly wrap around.
And even like he starts crying. And then he just like slowly just like
Goes away.
and then up in the sky it says for Harold. Me and Kane are holding back some tears here, man.
Every time
This movie
for
comes
Harold.
up, this movie just breaks us.
Every time I see that for Harold in a movie or
In a YouTube short or anything.
not for YouTube shorts. Those don't count.
Oh, well.
I'm talking like official stuff,
Right.
like for Harold or in commemoration of Harold Ramis from the
like
game.
Yeah, because like as soon as you end the game, it was like, this is for Harold.
Yeah.
It was like, I did this work for Harold, man. Because back when I used to play the video game and I'd watch a lot of stuff on the YouTube of the game or whatever, it'd always come up like, here, enroll for Harold Ramis Film School. I was like, that'd be cool. But yeah, for Harold.
Yeah, that last thing before the credits.
It's just like a punch in the gut, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody's like, hey, we're gonna head back to the home office. Thank you very much. And so they get kind of acquainted with the OGs, and podcast has 1 subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
Caden, who is that subscriber?
It is
Don't mess
Ray
this up.
Stantz.
You got it, buddy. Because like the inside joke is it finds itself on episode 46.
Yeah, that was what podcast said around like 20 minutes into the movie.
And then Ray's like, that's you? You really found your voice on episode 46. He's like, I know, right? I was like, awesome. And so it cuts to New York with the Ecto-1, and we get the theme music. And we get a few post-credit scenes, one with Peter and Dana, where Peter's finally getting payback for shocking his electrical students. Another one is of Janine and Egon using unused footage from the original movie about a lucky coin of Egon's that they never used. And Janine has that coin of Egon's, and it just cuts to old footage of her and him hugging. That was the unused footage. And it was about her and Winston talking about everything. And it cuts to Winston walking into the firehouse and saying we're home with the Ecto-1. So the Ghostbusters are back in business.
Now, to say, for me and Logan, this movie is such an emotional roller coaster
Oh, yeah.
because of how big of fans we are of Ghostbusters themselves.
Dude, I could be laughing so hard one second and just be bawling my eyeballs out the next in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's, and like, even just like talking about it, this was kind of hard for us to get through because like you could see me, I was tearing up sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Even there towards the end there, I was like starting to get water coming down my eyes and stuff. But yeah, this is such a good movie.
It's very emotional.
If the original didn't exist, this would have been in last season.
Oh, yeah.
If the original one wasn't so perfect, this would have been in one of my number one movies. Go watch this movie, even if you're not a Ghostbusters fan. If this is your on ramp to Ghostbuster hoodnum, whatever you want to call it, watch it.
That's fine.
Watch this. Watch the original. Watch 2. Then watch this. You will be bawling your eyeballs out after you have spent time with Egon and stuff.
Yeah.
You will
After
be.
you get to spend time with all of them.
You will be. Like, and there is so much emotional weight from the people making it too.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jason would have just made this with his dad, then just lost his dad. And then with like Egon, Harold and Dan wrote 1 and 2.
It was their magnum opus, pretty much.
They wrote the game together. The game is one of the last things that Harold did.
Yeah.
And so that right there has emotional weight to it. Ghostbusters just has so much emotional weight to it because of just the real life implications and just how much of it was friends trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this movie.
It's up there.
Is Frozen Empire as good as this one? No.
Will
But like
judge that.
it's not a bad movie by any sense of the word.
No.
It's just it doesn't have the weight
Yeah.
that this one does. And like that's good. Not every Ghostbusters movie should make you want to bawl your eyeballs out.
No.
But for people who understand, that's when it gets emotional.
Yeah.
But yeah. So any questions?
I was just gonna ask that. Do you have any?
Is there anything you would change about this movie? And just anything.
Probably not. I think the way they went about it was really good.
I think this is almost a near perfect Ghostbusters movie.
Mm-hmm.
You have any questions?
All right. So I kind of asked you about this one. If you could have another kind of Ghostbusters tool, what do you think you would add? Because we already have the proton pack, we have the PKE meter, Ecto 1 through 3,
and A, B, and C.
and then we have the
all the tools and stuff from the game.
we have the RB trap or RC trap.
The RC trap. The only thing I would add to like my arsenal, and this just comes from the game because that's what I have the most time with, and that would be honestly the goggles. The goggles are so much more important than they ever like let on.
Oh yeah.
Because like they can connect to the RC car, they can take pictures, they can see entities, it can pick up any form of spectral evidence.
Right.
Those goggles are way too overpowered. And I mean that wholeheartedly.
For me, I would have to add something similar to like the RC car.
Mm-hmm.
I already told you this,
Oh
but
yeah, I
I
remember
would want
now.
to do like a drone
Mm-hmm.
trap where you can just like throw it out the window or something, chase down a ghost and slam into it and the trap activates.
Hey, it might show up in Ghostbusters 5 if we ever get it. Because as of last week, recording this, they announced a Ghostbusters TV series on Netflix
Mm.
called Ghostbusters Night Shift.
Oh.
Jason Reitman is the executive producer.
Will it be animated or live action?
Pretty sure it's animated.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
Not
'cause
sure where it fits in the whole. It might be adjacent to Frozen Empire, might not. But an official Ghostbusters 5 has not been officially announced. It would not surprise me if we ever get it because of how good 3 and 4 were. But you never say never.
with how Netflix is, Netflix has a couple good shows that were standalone.
Mm-hmm. Stranger Things. Sorry, what?
Um, Stranger Things, Cyberpunk Edge Runners,
Devil May Cry,
Devil May Cry.
Castlevania.
Those are all really based on games for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So the lore is, if you haven't played it, you don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
With Ghostbusters, well, for me at least,
Because like I've seen the real Ghostbusters, you haven't.
with what I know, and with what I know of how Netflix can do things, they can either make it the best show ever,
Mm-hmm.
or they can turn it into dog water.
Yeah, I will at least check it out, but after what I will determine it on my watch.
Right.
Because like, do I have faith in Jason?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I know that he will put his heart and soul into it because he spent his entire life with this franchise.
Right.
So yeah, I have faith that Jason will do good. Um, am I curious where it'll sit in the timeline? Yes. But you know what? I still want Ghostbusters 5.
Absolutely.
I want as much stuff with the Ghostbusters while the OGs are alive
Absolutely.
because they're still a big part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so give it to us. Don't wait too long before Bill is gone.
Before, not, I wouldn't even say Bill. I would say,
If Dan is gone, there's no chance.
yeah.
Because Dan is the heart.
Mm-hmm. He's him and
Him and Harold were the heart of the Ghostbusters. And
we've
or
already lost half the heart.
and Harold was the one who had Harold wrote the logic.
Yeah.
Dan wrote the fantastical stuff. So yeah. Give us more while we can.
Yep.
Please.
We're
Please.
begging you.
Please. I don't care if I have to wait a year and a half. Get it made. But yeah. We love Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Caden, I think it's pretty obvious what we're watching next week.
Ghostbusters.
Frozen Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not really sure what we're in after that, but you'll wait and find out about that next week. But
Which,
and
real quick, something I find funny. 2 movies with the subtitle Frozen Empire came out around the same time.
what's that?
Godzilla, X King Kong, Frozen Empire.
That's the new Empire.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Frozen Empire.
Nope.
Oh, then I was thinking of just Empire.
Probably, yeah.
But still, I think it's funny that both those movies came out around the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah. Empire is a good title for a movie, especially if you're trying to add dread.
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah. Empire in the title usually leads to good things. Usually.
Usually.
All right. Are you anything else you want to add, my good sir?
Not that I can think of.
All right. This has been a very emotional episode of the Real Bros podcast. But you know what? I'm excited for us to delve more in movies like this, because then you get to see like the real us, and we can't say like we were acting or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we cried for you people. We shed tears for you. Yeah. I am Logan Thomas.
I'm Caden Green.
And this has been the Real Bros podcast. See you guys next week.
Goodbye.